All right, hello and welcome back to the PS Talks podcast. Going to be episode this is going to be episode number 3. Yeah, I think this is episode number 3, man. Apologies. This is to the probably 2 or 1 person watching. It's been a while since I uploaded. Um got got a little busy with stuff, and like there was really not much to talk about, if I'm gonna be honest. There were some charity events. One had I think it was a 2-course meal. It was like day one was a speed running thing, and then day two was like a gimmick tournament where you had like a $30 budget to build a comp basically. And it's like it was pretty interesting. Like it was $3 extra if you wanted to run Kraken, in like you didn't actually have to pay money, but like if you had a comp of like V Shot, like let's say like V Shot cost $8 and Pencil cost 10 or something like that, or if you wanted to run Kraken and Clam Blitz, that's an extra $3 on top of the weapon that you're using. So yeah, so that was interesting. And then there was another tournament. I forgot what it was called. HP for Heroes. It was a collab between Dapple Productions and and IPL, which I found it pretty interesting. I really like that these two orgs collabed on this. I really think these two orgs need to collab more on stuff. I feel like if these two orgs collab on a major together, that it would be really big, and and I think it'd be something that every top player and like every player in the community would enjoy, because I do think majors should be 100+ teams. I'm not a believer of it's not about the quantity of teams, it's about the quality of teams. Yes and no. Like if you have a major and you have a format in the major, and the format for the major is supposed to fit um like a big number of teams, it makes no sense to run that format with only like 60 something teams, which is what majors usually get. If Lowing gets 100 and something plus teams, and a good chunk of those teams in that 100 whatever are pretty good or decent at the video game, we can definitely get those teams out for a major. Like it's just, I don't know what form. I don't think day 2 Swiss is the play, but yeah. Um but that's a whole different thing. But they had a whole collab. I guess I'll give my thoughts on that. Like, well, they had a whole collab on that, and one thing that I didn't like is the fact that they had 2 streams. So Dapple ran a stream, IPL ran a stream. What I didn't like is that towards when it was like getting closer in the bracket to it wrapping up, it was also a 2-day event. But when it got closer to the event wrapping up, like when you get to losers semis, unless winners finals is still going on, there's not really much else to stream, or there's really no reason to have 2 streams going. So I feel like they could have killed off one stream and sent all the viewers to one spot. Um, in my opinion, I feel like it made no sense. Like, I get the double stream, like, hey, we stream this side of the bracket, then after this match is done, we go to the other side of the bracket to see some new teams, instead of it just coming down to, okay, whatever the tournament picks to stream is whatever the tournament picks to stream, which sometimes is absolutely awful. I don't want to see a low ink team go up against the number 4 team, the number 4 seed in the entire tournament. Well, not even the number 4 seed, but maybe like the number 10 or number 12 or 14 seed in the entire tournament. Like, I don't want to see a lowing team play against them. I don't want to see that on stream. Uh, no shade at anybody. I just think I really like the idea of double streams. Um, it definitely requires a lot of resources, but yeah. Um, but yeah. So yeah, that so like um it's for a good cause. I mean, there's not really much to say. It's for charity, but like the stream thing, I didn't really agree with that, if I'm being honest. Um, but yeah, and then last week the topic, what like one of the topics after the whole 2-course meal tournament, because the HP for Heroes tournament had no restrictions. day two of two-course meal had restrictions, and a whole topic came up of should we be should there be weapon restrictions or special restrictions in tournaments from now on, because the patches have been very much lackluster. They haven't been good at all. And this was something people brought up in Splatoon 2, and the people who are advocating it for it now in Splatoon 3 did not. Some of those people did not have the same opinion back in Splatoon 2. If they tell you they did, they are lying to your face, which is very frustrating because, like, back in Splatoon 2, when missiles were out of control, special spam was out of control. It wasn't shooters, it was just special spam, because most of the shooters that could paint and that had really good specials for some reason were like 180 or 190p. And if you just equip special charge and you don't engage anybody and you just spam specials the entire time, because you're able to just build a bunch of missiles before your other missiles even land, and it's like it becomes a whole cluster of mess basically. And so yeah, I'm really upset with the community. The fact that now, for some reason, everyone's all kind of on board. Now, we're not all on board in terms of what to ban, which that's the topic I'm getting into. But I am very much upset because when this was needed in Splatoon 2, everyone was like, the meta's fine. Blah 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 blah. Let's just ban shooters. That fixes the problem. No, it doesn't, you dumbass. Like, banning shooters does not fix the problem of special spam. The next weapon, even if it's not a shooter, the next weapon that can paint just as well, or not just as well, but the next best class that can paint really well is just gonna come and take its spot. And if it has a very powerful special like missiles or crab or Zuka, it's just gonna be the same problem. Um, Sorry, I just had to get that off my chest because I really hated that whole, and I feel like that's somewhat of the. Yeah, I don't know if that is a discussion, but I don't think we should limit the amount of weapon classes you can use. Um, like, what happens if a bucket gets, like, what happens if Dreadringer, if it gets a third kit, it gets like Zuka and Splat Bomb or something, and it's like 180p. Dreadringer paints pretty well. So, like, what happens when that's a thing? Are we gonna limit two? Like, are we not gonna limit two sloshes in a comp or something? Like what's going? Like, I don't know. Um, but yeah, that was a topic that Popgun kind of brought into discussion, which I was pretty surprised because when he has said a couple times that he wished he was more vocal towards the end of Splatoon 2 about doing a restriction or banning some things. Um, and now we're in the whole discussion now, and now we have had a couple of tournaments. We have had a few tournaments that have had this idea. We had which I guess will lead me into this segment here, which is weapon restrictions. So we had a tournament. There was a couple of tournaments last week that happened. There was so one of Popgun's ideas was ban blue pencil, one Zuka per comp, and no Kraken on Clan Blitz. I'll kind of get into my opinion later in the pod, probably right after this, but yeah, those are the three things that he said, because I agree with him on this. You don't want to make it too complicated because Splatoon players are already dumb enough and they don't read as it is. um so yeah, I do agree with him in that sense that you don't want to make it too complicated. I absolutely agree. So good ideas only or bad ideas only had a good ideas only Roundy and Soren, and they named it Good Ideas Only Popgun's Stupid Rule. And so the tournament, like, from my perspective, it was definitely refreshing to not play Pencil. But as soon as Pencil was gone, we just saw, I don't have a problem with splat chargers. We just saw a leader. So custom leader. It was very refreshing not to play Clan Blitz with a Kraken or against the Kraken. We don't really use, my team doesn't really use Kraken, but against the Kraken, I don't think we even really got to play Clan Blitz. That's the thing also. So that was pretty refreshing. But I think I think there was a broadcast for it. Um, blue pencil, not blue pencil, red pencil just ended up taking blue pencil place, which I really think you just need to ban pencil as a whole, because all the new comps are gonna be is one Zuka, maybe like some midline of some sort, Zap, and then pencil, red pencil, or heavy edit, you know? And so, because pencil is still really strong, it's still a pencil. Even though it's not the blue one with cooler, it's still a pencil. So I really think, in my opinion, you just need to ban pencil as a whole, like, because, like, yeah, I just really think you just need to ban pencil as a whole, because you're just gonna get beamed from across the map at splatter scope range by a thing that has like 5 shots to waste. So, um, but yeah, so that ended up happening. I mean, the tournament was refreshing, but after blue pencil is gone, we're just seeing chargers, and so yeah, that I had to deal with a custom e-leader shooting me through a wall, because yeah, netcode and but there was another tournament that happened. This one was hosted on Sendao. Bad Ideas only was hosted on Battlefy, but this one was hosted on Sendao the same time as Low Ink. This past weekend, it was on Saturday, and so I think it was Kyo's tournament. It was called the Glaze Gauntlet. So we had Jackpot, we had SEES, Biscuit, Goss, Bagel, and Ice, and then we had Kyo Fanbase, which is basically, I think, Celeste plus Kiver. I'm pretty sure. And then we had Zenin Clan, which is Noctis, Novice, Phoenix, and Yoshio. Uh, and then we had Bet sign up for this one. We had Catnip, In Control Red Sun, and we also had there was also a Japanese team that ended up signing up for this one as well. I forgot what their name was. What was their name? Their name was Goodwin. Godwin, my bad. It was Godwin. I don't know how to say. It was Luma Ace, who was EU, and then 3 Japanese players. So they ended up playing in this one. And the rules for this one were limit one. It was zones only. It was called the Glaze Gauntlet. Kyo hosted this March 30th at 1 p.m. EST. But it was limit 1 Zuka, limit 1 Crab, limit 1 Cooler, and then there was no pencil, so both pencils were banned. No E-Leader, and no Splat Charger. And then it says Squiffer, Bamboo, and GooTuber are allowed. Splat zones only, and the prize pool was $350. Yeah, there was a prize pool on this. I think 2 people generously donated, or 3 actually generously donated, making a prize pool for this one. But yeah, this one was very fun to like watch. I wasn't able to watch it because at the time, like the whole thing, because I was playing low ink. But like grand finals, I got to see. Because I think Swiss of Low Ink was done by the time, like, you know, I think there was a bracket reset, so that's the reason why Swiss of Low. Well, we were done with Swiss of Low Ink by the time this tournament was in the bracket reset, and so Jackpot ended up playing in this one, got third. Godwin ended up getting second in the Biscuit, Goss, Bagel, and Ice pickup, which is just FT win plus 2 members of Starburst, being basically taking first place in this one. Jackpot falling at third was pretty interesting, but like it looked very refreshing to play, and also just very fun to watch. Now, if you're a Charger player, you probably disagree, but in my mind, I just think you need to suck it up and like become flexible and stop being like, I'm a one trick, because those don't really exist. If you play competitive, I'm just gonna be completely honest with you. Like, you can push your weapon as far as you want, but eventually you're gonna have to learn how to adapt. But that's a whole different rant in itself. Um, I just hate when people are like, I'm a one trick. I only play this. and I expect people to deal with it and recruit me. My bad. Um, especially if it's not something that is like very flexible. Um, like you can be a one-trick shot. Like shooters, I don't think anybody really cares because it's a shooter. But yeah, the Japanese team ended up being jackpot. So most of the comps were like I don't want to say most of the comps were, but the comps were very interesting. A heavy edit ended up winning the event. Ice was on heavy edit for the SEES pickup, and then Godwin had an Octobrush Nouveau at one point in the tournament. Like the Octobrush Nouveau took out Jackpot and sent them down to losers bracket. I believe Goss was playing 52. We saw like 52 Squeezer at one point from the from Biscuit and Goss, and then I think Bagel. I forgot what Bagel was playing. I wasn't really paying attention. It was just kind of interesting, but like basically the Splatling class just basically had a whole breath of fresh air. Like, oh my god, like I can breathe without having to worry about something shooting me from across the map. Now, I don't know if bow was used. I quite honestly think bow also benefits from this. As much as people say, "Oh, bow is really bad," I don't think it's that bad. In all honesty, it could be worse. It could be Hydra or Explode, but I think I don't know if bow was used as much or if any good bow players were in this tournament at all. But I do know Jackpot used like Zap, Stamper, Slosher, and then of course they had like Rapid Pro, and then some. They had Rapid Pro, Deco, and then sometimes Vanilla Rapid Pro, and it was pretty interesting to be quite honest with you. The comps that they were using, and honestly, if this was the rule set, we all wanted. The every tournament one to use from now on, I think it's pretty healthy. I think you can probably I'll get into that. Yeah, I guess I'll get into that now, but like um I think you can honestly lift the band off of unscoped chargers because unscoped chargers are about the same length as Hydra. So still ban leaders. No, still ban leaders. I'm talking about splat chargers in particular. Um Still ban leader because I like people are saying ZNF is not that good if you lift the ban off for splatter scopes. I feel like the meta will just be Zap, ZNF Charger, and then whatever else. It won't really create any flexibility like people are hoping it will. Like everyone's gonna be cherry limeade and gonna want to throw their bracket away by trying to push gold arrow spray. But no, that's not what. Sorry, cherry limeade. Um, but yeah, like it's nothing like that. I don't think we're gonna see anything like that. People in competitive play, like the best of the best want to win, so they're gonna go with what's best for them. Either what helps them win the best, or what just is the easiest way to win. Basically, if there is some type of meta that stems from us restricting some things. But I do think the one cooler, one Zuka, and one crab is very necessary because, like, with Pop Gun's rules, I was very worried about, okay, if you limit it to one Zuka, what happens if people start to. Because I do believe. Because I don't think any high level teams played in the bad idea or good ideas only tournament. My one worry about Pop Gun's rule set was what happens if people start catching on and start just running double crab again, because that was meta before, or they just start doing double jet, which was also meta at one point until but Tacticooler kind of phased it out, I guess. But um um but yeah, what else? Yeah, like double crab, double jet. Like, what's stopping people from running double crab, double jet, double cooler? Um, and so I think Kyo kind of caught on to that because I don't think that was used in Bad Ideas Only. Um, so banned almost every charger except for the Bamboo, Squiffer, and Gootuber, and then um which kind of opened up the Splatling class. Like people were like, "Oh, okay, well, ballpoint is just gonna take the place of the backline." But I'd much rather deal with a ballpoint. If I'm being honest with you, it's like I'd much rather deal with a ballpoint that has a special that isn't gonna insta kill me from across the map, and that I can at least react to and parry as well. Um, and then like Crab versus, if I'm looking at it from the lens of like, oh, if I want to play Splash, um, or something, it's like, um, sorry, um, I just be like, hey, let me just, I'll probably just play Crab into Jet anyway. You know, not saying that I only play Crab, but like, you know, if you're a Splash player, it's like playing Crab into two Zukas is pretty suicide. But I do think the limit on Crab and also Cooler and Zuka was good. I think there was no cracking on Clan Blitz. I'm pretty sure that was a rule. Was that a rule? I'm not sure if that was a rule. I'm pretty sure that was a rule. Um, I don't know if he just didn't list it or no one used Kraken. I think there was a rule on it. I don't think it just wasn't listed here. So it's basically the pop so pretty much some of the pop gun rules, except you ban pencil completely, and then you're banning all the other chargers, like leader and then splat charger, and then the only thing you can use in the charger class is Squiffer, Bamboo, and Gootuber, which I think is pretty fine in all honesty. Um, but yeah, the tournament was entertaining, man. I do think, like I said, I do think you can lift the ban off of unscoped chargers, except for leader. Um, and then you keep the limit on one Zuka, one Crab, one Cooler, and then no cracking on clams. Um, to make the mode. Oh well, it was zones only. That's why he didn't ban. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm dumb. So there was no like restriction on cracking because it was zones only. But like still, if it's an all modes tournament, I do think that restriction on cracking is needed. But until Nintendo fixes it. But I do think these bans are something that the community should consider. TOs and tournaments should consider, um, for sure, as a regular thing. The problem with it is getting everybody on the same page and being like, okay, um, and then when stuff like Ludi comes around, it's like if that has no restrictions, okay, how are we gonna seed? Because like if we have like, let's say we have 10 tournaments in total in the community, and like 8 out of the 10 or 7 out of the 10 are using the restrictions that are, and like some different, and then some differ from others. Let's say 7 out of 10 of tournament out of the 10 tournaments in our community are using restrictions, and then let's say only 4 out of the 7 that are using restrictions are using the same restrictions. It's like that's the whole problem, because some people are idiots. I'm not gonna say that. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. But like, yeah, some people, we can't agree on one thing for some reason. When it comes on what's best for the game, I think this rule set that Kyo used was good. Like I've already voiced that you can probably lift the ban off of unscoped regular chargers, not leader, but regular chargers, because then you can have more variety. If I want to play Splatling, I can play Splatling. I just have to position a little bit better when fighting a charger. And it's like, and if I want to get a pick that's further away as a charger that I would usually get if I was the scope version, I have to put myself in a more riskier position, or position myself a little bit more aggressively as my teammates start to take space. I feel like that is fine. But some people may disagree. If you disagree, let me know uh, in the comments below. If to the one person or two people watching, but um, but yeah, and then what else? But yeah, I think the restrictions are something we need to look forward to, especially right now, since we aren't gonna have a patch anytime soon. And then if sizzle season rolls around and it's the last like content update, and like nothing changes, we continue these bans, especially if they don't do anything to Zuka, and maybe tune Cooler down a little bit as well. Because I feel like once you tune down Zuka, I feel like Double Cooler might just come back or something like that. And then if they don't fix Kraken in terms of like jumping to it and cheesing Clamblitz, I feel like you still keep the restriction on no Kraken and Clamblitz. And I feel like it would have to be a community-wide thing. That's the only thing about it. The entire every tournament has to agree on the same rule set. It makes no sense for one tournament for IPL's tournaments to have this rule set and then Dapper Productions has a different rule set. It makes no sense whatsoever because when it comes to things like Ludi, we have to seed. It just makes everything a lot more difficult for every seeder on the council, at least in my opinion. And it makes it a lot more difficult for people like me who do verification for lower level stuff. So it's like, oh, Lowing has these restrictions, but for some reason in Metal Cup they don't have these restrictions. And for some reason this Grandma and Pa tournament that popped up out of nowhere that's not needed whatsoever, that's also like Div 7 and below, for whatever reason being so, they end up having little to no restrictions at all. It's like, okay, how am I supposed to measure that? Like when I'm looking at results and trying to verify teams, like that. So hopefully, we collectively as TOs start to use our brains a little bit more than what we are. But yeah, I think one thing I will say, I don't agree on the limit one special, like banning like limiting it to like one special. Like, cause like, what the hell am I gonna do with double chumps? Like, let's just be real, guys. Like, what am I gonna do with double chumps? Um, Double strike might be annoying if you start to, if they put in a patch and say, hey, for whatever reason, you can swim with strikes, which I think would be a terrible idea. But what the hell am I going to do with double chumps? And what am I going to do with double whale? Like, if I want to play 52 and my bow player and my backline wants to play bow, it's like, okay, now one of us has to choose, okay, am I going to choose the ableist weapon, which I can't even play at all anyway because most people ban screen, or are we going to put my backline player on Sprinkler and Chumps, which is probably a lot worse than the vanilla kit? Um, because the vanilla kit at least has something maybe a little bit useful, which is Mist. So it's like, I don't agree with that. Like, limit the specials that are obviously in the meta and you have a strong possibility of seeing two of them. If we're seeing double chump, you're either watching Little Squid League or you're fighting a casual team who thinks it's really good and paints really well, or you're playing against Cherry Limeade. One of the two, or one of the three. So I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with the let's limit like no duplicate specials at all. Cause like, what happens if I'm just doing double chump? What happens if we're just playing double chump because this range blaster kit has a better bomb? Like, let's say for whatever reason custom range gets splat bomb chump. Every custom range blaster would be crying. But let's say for some reason custom range gets chump and slap bomb, like, and it's just like, okay, well, slap bomb is a better bomb or burst bomb. Let's say, actually make it even better, burst bomb. It's like, okay, this is just a better bomb to combo with for range. It's like, okay, but my bow player wants to play chump here. It's just like, okay, well, now what do we do? It's like, now someone has to say, I don't like the whole. I don't think we have to have that issue with other. I don't think double whale or double chump is going to be meta defining if we don't limit double specials. And we also just need to not pick bad maps. Like, don't put humpback zones in your map list and then be surprised when you see double booyah bomb, or maybe not double missile, but double booyah bomb from a team, and they just cheese the hell out of the zone, or double ink. Well, maybe not double ink strikes because you can't swim with them, but like, don't put bad maps into your map pool and be surprised when a team just runs double this, and you're like, maybe we need to limit double booyah bomb. No, just don't put it in your map list. Sorry, I just had to get that off my chest. But yeah, the tournament was great. The Glaze Gauntlet, I said that way too many times. than I would have liked. But yeah, it was a good tournament. I think this rule set is good. I think it's worth testing out with what I said. Now that is a lot of things, and then another thing people have been talking about is that we don't want to limit gear abilities because the amount of people who have one sub of special charge and all this other stuff is it's like you got to pay attention to that. I feel like it takes no time to just replace one chunk on your gear with a different ability. Like you got like literally you guys are so obsessed with the fat with the drip, with your quote unquote drip, which I think is just stupid. I just equip gear and people were like, that's not drippy, bro. Like, shut the sorry. um, it's like, bro, shut up, please. Um, like you people are so obsessed with your gear, and you're being like, oh, this is drip. This is drip right here. No, these shoes don't match. These like if you're just into fashion, that's fine. But I'm talking about the people who are just drip freaks. Like, this is not drippy, bro. Like they judge every single piece of clothing that you put on. Like it's just like, come on, bro. It's like if you people are put so much thought into what pair of clothing in a video game matches together for your video game inkling character or octoling character, you can go through your gear and replace the small chunks of special charge. Like, come on, bro. Like, play some salmon run. Like, you like literally when your gear has all three slots filled, you continue to get chunks as you play, like ranked and stuff. Like, I know you guys don't take showers. I know you're on X rank all the time. Like, come on, guys. Let's act like this isn't so hard. Like, I feel like that's not hard to implement. It's just people need to use their brains. It's like, okay, I just can't have special charge. Let me replace every little piece of special charge that I have, and then you can literally rebuy gear with a different ability on it, like with a different main ability. If you don't have enough chunks to replace it, you can at least buy a different. You can you can go into the shop, and if it's in the shop again, you can literally buy it from the shop and be like, okay, yeah, change this out. This has special charge now, but if I buy this gear again with this new ability on it, being haunt or whatever, I can just replace it and do it all later. I don't think your drip matters that much, guys. Does it really matter that much? I don't know, bro. I just went on a whole rant. Sorry, but yeah. People have talked about not. I know Char has. I know there was a discussion, the Blot Talk, and for some reason Char streamed it on YouTube, and as I went back to go watch it, bro deleted the VOD. I don't understand the thought process behind that, but yeah, I have yet to go watch it because I don't want to watch it on Twitch. I think it might be on his VOD dub channel, but I just see no point in streaming it on your main channel on YouTube, then deleting it and then uploading it to the VOD dump channel. Like, just stream from the VOD dump channel. I don't know. I don't know, bro. Um, but yeah. All right, that's the segment on weapon restrictions and stuff like that. That took way longer than I thought. Um, nigga, okay, just you can. Never mind. I can't say that. Um, if I pause in the middle of the like podcast, just so if I just take like a long pause, it's because I'm reading something and I'm trying to comprehend what this person is thinking. Um, so half the time when I pause, I'm like, I just saw something that just made me be like, nigga, you know, like I just had to, I just have to clarify. So it's like if I ever take a long pause, it's not because I had a brain fart. I'm not that stupid. At least I don't think I am. It's just like I either I'm probably reading something because something popped up. But yeah. Um. So yeah. talk about transitioning into the so this past couple weeks we've had the bounty. So Worlds is happening this month. That's happening next week actually. Yeah, Worlds is happening next week, and I'm really excited. Um, April the 13th and the 14th jackpot. We finally know the representative from Japan, the Koshian finale or finals ended up happening this past weekend, the 30th and 31st. I know in the past recordings, I think I said it happened on March 23rd and 24th. No, it actually happened on the 30th and the 31st, and it was all turf war. Noricio's team ended up losing in the quarterfinals to, I think, an Explo or a turf war team, like a team that just only plays turf war, I think. And so I don't know I know the grand finals was between a team that runs Explo and a team that only play in a turf war warrior team. I don't know who ended up winning that grand finals, but I do know that a lot of people were saying Japan is kind of cooked. It's going to be an NA versus EU grand finals, which might also be a little bit uneventful. No offense to Kaiser. It's just I have not seen them do anything as of lately, and then recently with the bounty matches that have been happening for Jackpot, because recently they haven't had anybody challenge them and they haven't been able to find scrims as of lately. Kind of sounds familiar, right? They're kind of getting the Starburst treatment, that Starburst guy before the PAX tournament to like qualify for Japan for North America, basically. So they're kind of getting the same treatment as Starburst did. And then finally, I forgot what day it was. I think it was like sometime last week. Squid and Good finally ended up, I think Squid and Good being the brave team that they are, because everybody else in the Western scene seems to be scared of Jackpot. I said it. I know FT Win has like Bursty doing some stuff, and like Kyo prefers not to play with Bursty, but I don't know what Starburst is doing. Like it doesn't look like they're doing much, you know. And then everybody else, I don't know what Gruku's thinking about. It doesn't look like they're doing much. Um, and so, like, yeah, it seems like no one just wants to challenge Jackpot. Squid and Good finally ended up doing it. It went as expected. No offense to Squid and Good. I salute to them for challenging Jackpot, but like it went as expected. It was a 5-0. It was no contest. It like they started joking around halfway through it. And then another challenge ended up coming. I think Moonlight was supposed to play them, but then something happened to Omega where he got in a car accident. Something always happens to this guy when like there's a big Splatoon event. Like I don't know, bro got hit with the Curse of Ra or what, but he was okay, so that's good. I think before they faced Moonlight, I think they played Black Lotus, and that went as expected. That was a 5-0. It was pretty uneventful. Like they literally made it a best of 9 because they wanted an extra game. It was originally supposed to be a best of 7, but they made it a best of 9 because they wanted the extra game. So that was a 5-0. Then Moonlight happens. The set versus Moonlight happens on Friday. That was very uneventful because the gap between Jackpot and Moonlight is pretty big. It's not just a couple more months of practice and improving and we'll be right there with Jackpot. No, it's going to take more than a couple months. Like Jackpot will have to literally stop playing the game, and then Moonlight would have to do nothing but play the game in order to catch up, in my opinion. I think it would take honestly a year. Like I said, no disrespect to Moonlight. I just don't. The gap is like really big. When it comes to the top of the Western scene and the rest of the teams, which is honestly really sad, and maybe that would decrease with the restrictions being added in if the community decides and the tournaments decide to go forward with it, because like who cares what Nintendo thinks? Like who cares about the Nintendo tournaments? When the Nintendo tournaments come around and people want to play in those, they'll just, if the meta is still the same from when we had the restrictions, which made us add the restrictions anyway. It's just the same thing, basically, and it's pretty easy to do. Just add an extra Zuka to your comp and put in pencil, and there you go. Here we go. Um, and eventually Nintendo will learn, hey, maybe Turf War isn't the best thing to look at when it comes to balance changes. Eventually they will learn, but yeah. And then we go into we go into that match. It was a 5-0. Could have been 5-1, but I think Nolan ended up using Kraken with the few clams that they had towards the end on Mako Clamblitz, which seems to be one of their weaker maps for Jackpot. It seemed like they've almost lost. They've almost dropped games in the sets that they did play that map mode combination. So, and the rules are like subs off. You have to play the world's map list, and then there's turf war in there. So most of the time, most teams lose turf war because I'm very much convinced that the teams don't practice the bounty. Like I'm very much convinced by the few teams that have challenged Jackpot. From the 3 teams that did challenge Jackpot, I'm very much convinced that they just did not practice no subs or turf war whatsoever. Like, did they just wake up and be like, hey, let's just challenge them? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going on there. But then yesterday we had a set between Jackpot and the pickup of Goss, Zenith, Yoshell, and Atomic. And this one looked like it was going to be a 5-0. It was 4-0 Jackpot. Like, there were some games that pickup could have definitely taken before. It easily could have been 5-3 the other way, because in some games that those group of players that ended up choking towards the end, or just like kind of letting it go towards the end. No, I don't want to say choking, but kind of just like letting it go towards the end. And what happened? But yeah, it was 4-0, and it looked like it was about to be a 5-0, and then they ended up winning one. I think it was Flounder. Actually, it might have been Mako Clamblitz first that they took, and then the next game was Turf War on Marlin Airport. They ended up winning the Turf War one, so Jackpot has bled when it comes to playing in Turf War. They have bled. They are beatable in Turf War, because apparently Jackpot is one of the only Western teams that actually plays Turf War, or Western top teams that actually plays Turf War and enjoys Turf War for some reason. And then the next game that they dropped, I think, was Flounder Zones, which also seems to be one of their other weaker maps as well. So I don't know if I'm Kaiser, if I'm Greasy Goblins, I'm kind of taking note. Like, if I'm not too strong on those either, I probably want to get comfortable, or maybe try something different on those maps, or something. Obviously, I think Jackpot will probably adjust. I don't think they'll just go into the event and be like, okay, yeah, if we lose these, we'll just lose these. But no. But yeah. We know the Japan representative. We know NA, EU, and Australia. Now we just need the... I'm pretty sure we know South Korea as well. We do know the South Korea representative. So all we need is the winner between the Hong Kong representative and the Taiwan representative. So I think they have yet to play each other. So we're either going to have a representative from Taiwan or Hong Kong. So once we find out who wins that match, because I think they already know the 2 teams that are there to decide that. They just need to play each other. Once they play each other, I think we'll know all 6 teams, and I'll probably do like a preview on one episode of the podcast, and I might do a watch party for day 2, since day 1 is just all turf war. I don't plan on watching day 1. I might tune in depending on what time it is. Depending on what time it is, I might do a watch party for day 2 as well, or I might just join, or I might just watch Kyo's watch party, because I don't expect anyone to show up to mine. So yeah. But yeah, that's that. Hopefully another team challenges Jackpot again. Like hopefully Grugu challenges Jackpot. I don't think Grugu will beat Jackpot, but I do think they'll be entertaining, just like that last set that was 5-3. I do think that Grugu or AR will probably take Jackpot to a game. Maybe game 8, maybe game 9, probably game 8, maybe game 9 if they know how to play Turf War. But yeah, the bounty ends tomorrow. Apparently, I don't know if they're gonna extend it or they're just like, hey, too bad, sweetheart. You had 2 weeks to challenge, which is honestly fair. If I'm Jackpot, I'd honestly give some teams the TO treatment. Hey, you had like 2 weeks to register, or you had 2 weeks to like challenge us and like pick a date. So, too bad, so sad. Like, unless you were practicing, but if I don't know, I'm convinced. I don't even think the team that challenged them yesterday really practiced, but I'm convinced every team so far that has challenged Jackpot has not practiced. Has not practiced any of the maps or the no sub abilities stuff. So yeah, that's I don't know. I really think this could have been a lot better than what it was. I really expected more teams to challenge Jackpot, but hey, um, who knows? I might do this for a low level team, like low key. Like I low key. Well, you probably have to worry about Smurfs, but I low key might do this for I might low key just put a bouncy on an LSL team one tournament. Um, I just we're just hosting LSL and then randomly I ping an announcement. Hey, here's a $100 bounty on this team. Like, well, actually, I probably wouldn't want to do that. Actually, I might have an idea for that. Who knows? Um, but hey, I feel like if you did this for low level, I feel like low level would absolutely show out for this one. Now, the team that you put a bounty on might lose in the second or third set, but hey, or you put it on a team, or you put it on a lowing champion. I think that would probably be better. A lowing champion or a lowing team that's banned, or a lowing or a team that played in lowing that is now banned, like overtime. I feel like you could probably put a bounty on overtime. Um, Probably beating them will probably get you banned, but who knows, man? You probably could do that. I don't know. Lowing, hit me up. IPL, hit my line. Um, I don't know, but yeah. Um, I think that is it for all the topics I wanted to cover. Um, oh, there was something else. Okay, Low Ink happened this past weekend. I just kind of want to give a shout out to the two teams that were in the finals. Zestfest finished in second place to VR Cat. VR Cat, I expected them to win this tournament a while, very soon, and they did. I'm not surprised that they won. I think Ominous got banned. Uh, they signed up and they got banned. Thank God. And then Ink Black, because I refused them to call them by their other name, they ended up getting fourth. So I think Ink Black is honestly the next team up. Zestfest, quite honestly, I think they're a late bloomer because they won LSO a while ago, and usually LSO champions do very well in like next month's Low Ink, and they kind of had a rocky patch where they kind of like went down to Gamma and like Delta and Epsilon brackets some months, and good to see them kind of like catching their stride. Um, so yeah, they're kind of like a late bloomer in terms of that. So I'm not surprised by their performance. I just think they needed some consistency, and they've been playing in these other like low level tournaments that are not needed. I'm gonna say that every time I mention those, but yeah. So yeah, they've been doing well in that. And then Loxier ended up losing in like round two to Zestfest, so that's interesting. So they're gonna still be around, and they're gonna be angry probably. The Howdy Hat Pirates, their team people were looking towards. Rogue Point Rascals, their team people are looking towards. I'm gonna say this team now because I feel like a lot of people just didn't really take note of this team. Cherry Bomb, I'm just gonna say it now. I won't be surprised if Cherry Bomb is like alpha is an alpha bracket regular because I had to play them one I think I had to play them twice and they're pretty good. They are looking for a fifth, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're like an alpha bracket regular because they do have the potential. Um, if they stop tilting, they'll probably be like top two. But hey, who knows? Um, you, I didn't say anything. The winner of beta bracket was Starlight. Starlight is another team that was in LSL. They used to go by White Siege. They ended up getting third before they got banned. Peace Strikers is also an LSL. It used to be an LSL team, or they did sign up for LSL, but I was like, no, you cannot play because they were just gonna do what the Demon Hunters did when they signed up for LSL. We knew nothing about the Demon Hunters, and they did a historic run of going like, I think they went like 40-1 per games or something like that, or maybe it was like 23-1. Like they only dropped one game the entire tournament. Um, so yeah, Starlight, good to see them doing well. The Gamma Bracket team that won was unknown. I don't know who these guys are, but they are known now. They were unknown, but now they're known. Cool. And then Delta Bracket, Silly Goobers United ended up being cautioned in a bracket reset. I know that was a good set if it went all the way to a bracket reset. Yeah, they got 3-0'd. Silly Goobers got 3-0'd by caution in winners finals, and then they 3-0'd them in the first grand final set, and then the second grand final set they ended up winning 3-1. Oh wow, that's wait. I feel like I know who Silly Goobers is. I recognize those caution players. Okay, yeah, I kind of know who these guys are, kinda. But yeah, congrats to VR Cat. In other news, some petty drama has happened on Twitter, and I hope IPO Versus comes back this month for this. We got Catnip, the battle of. Never mind, I'm not gonna say that. The battle of two teams that need to do more. Tempest, also known as Duck Motif, taking on Catnip. If you don't know, Tempest or Duck Motif was in top four of was top four packs. Um, was at that top four for packs. It was them, Crush Soda, Starburst, and Jackpot. So I find it very hard to believe that at one point Duck Motif was a top four team in North America. Now they kind of, I don't want to say they've fallen off, but like they've kind of like faded into the background a little bit. Like they don't play as much. I know they were looking for a fourth and they just recruited someone, which is fair enough. But I wish this team would do more. Honestly, I felt like this team had lots of potential, but like I don't know. I don't know if it's just them getting used to new roster. And I say this out of respect, but I'm just saying this in a bluntful way. But yeah, they have beef with. I don't want to say they have beef with Catnip, but yeah, basically, Bandit ended up tweeting out. Bandit ended up tweeting out. Catnip, stop dodging in Sindel Q challenge impossible. Now, if you're not familiar with Sindel Q, a lot of teams that are Diamond and like Leviathan, and sometimes mainly Diamond Plus, and people who are obsessed with mainly under the ranks under Leviathan, people who are obsessed with their elo and like trying to get into the plus servers. Oftentimes you'll see like 4 or 5 diamond teams in the queue, and if you're like let's say your team is like silver plus, you're a lowing team and you're silver plus, a lot of times you'll get challenges from those diamond teams who could literally just challenge each other, but they end up just sitting in the queue for about 30 minutes to almost an hour not challenging each other, and it's pretty common, people dodging. So Bandit pretty much kind of accused Catnip of dodging them, and then Luna doing the Luna stuff that they do. Put out a quote, retweeted Bandit and said, I needed this," which was basically a picture of them 4-1ing Duck Motif, basically. in a most recent send-out queue that I guess these two teams had. Um, all members on each team are in the plus servers. I can't believe Luna is only in +3. All right, and 5th gen and Twig, but okay. I can understand why Potato is in +2. Okay, and then most of Duck Motif is all in plus. I can't believe Red Shell is in +1, but okay. Well, actually, that's fair. Actually, that's fair. I can see why. Never mind. But yeah, said I needed this, and then Bandit quote retweeted and said, "This doesn't change the fact." This happened yesterday night, and it said, "This doesn't change the fact that you guys have been dodging in the past while being Leviathan. It's really annoying. I just want to play the game," which is understandable. When you're trying to get practice and like the teams that are around your level don't want to play against you, it's pretty annoying. I'm not accusing Catnip of Q dodging, but I will say it is pretty common. It's pretty evident. It's right there, you know. It's pretty evident. I've been to some like of Jared's send out Q streams where he's like playing with Brand and stuff, or even just Jackpot, and like no one challenges them for like a solid hour, hour and a half, almost 2. Um, so yeah, so yeah, some people are like, it's not that deep, but no, we need to make it that deep. We need to make it that deep, and we need to make it personal. Not well. I'm joking, by the way. We don't need to make it personal, but I think we need storylines. So yeah, let's get these two teams off their butts. Let's. Catnip actually has been doing more than Tempest probably, but actually, never mind. I'm gonna stop talking. But yeah, let's get these two teams on a set. Let's get IPO versus back up. You know, let's have the third official set on IPO versus. Let's get these two teams in there. Let's get them fighting and bashing heads, not literally, but you know, yeah, let's get these two teams fighting. You know, let me see Potato versus Bandit, the battle of the Chargers. Let me see that. Let me see 5th gen versus Red Shell. Let me see Twig versus Drift T. Let me see Kira versus Luna. Let me see that. I want to see that. Let's see the new blood versus the old blood. Let's see Catnip versus the Quack motif. The Quack attack. I don't know what I'm saying. If you think I'm crazy, I think that's fair. But 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 yeah, let's get some storylines, man. Let's get some rivalries. Like, hopefully, it becomes nothing personal, but like, let's get some rivalries. Let's get some. Hey, these guys are absolutely garbage at the game. They will never beat us, and they will never come close to beating us. Let's get some. Let's get some trash talk. Let's get some friendly trash talk in here. Um, in all reality, unless they agree to an IPO versus set, I don't think this is gonna go anywhere. Quite honest with you, I'm not trying to be like a drama alert thing. Don't I never want to be that, but like, let's get some storylines, please. Low level in terms of storylines, low level is absolutely carrying the scene. Like, and they're not even trying to. like, like let's just be honest. Like, let's just be real here. Like, the low level events, low ink, absolutely carrying the scene when it comes to storylines. So like let's get some of our top. Or we got an upcoming top level team, or not top level, but high level team in Catnip versus a team that was an upcoming top level team. You could argue probably they would be top 5, but not anymore in my opinion. In Duck Motif, and so let's get these two teams playing each other. You know, let's get a rivalry going. I haven't seen a rivalry that uh that matches the same intensity. Well, maybe not intensity, but I haven't yet to see a rivalry that matches the level of like um what's it called? What's Deep Blues and Kairos. That was the rivalry back in the day, especially in Splatoon 1. Deep Blues and Kairos, absolute bangers of sets. They had amazing sets, and it was like friendly banter, but they had amazing sets every time. I know for that. I know that for a fact. Um, but yeah. And then also Deep Blues and like what's the name? One of Char's old teams. It wasn't Last Resort. It was like some. It was like Muti, Arashi, Chara, and Muti, Arashi, Chara, and Tetsu. That team. I forgot. Low Key. They were called something else. I think they were called Low Key at the time, but they were called something else. And then Deep Blues and In Control and Low Key and In Control. Like not In Control Red Sun, but In Control um Seafood Sorbet. But yeah. Alright, that's the episode of the podcast. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.